2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
All right, everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto on a beautiful Friday. This is AZcrypto, MrFOMO. Please remember to hit that like, that bell notification, most importantly, that subscribe button. That greatly helps us out. So if you've not done so, please take a moment to do that right now. And as I said, we are building towards hopefully 1,000 subs as soon as possible. MrFOMO, crazy day in the market. We saw Bitcoin at one point go down 1,000 within minutes. And overnight, we saw Litecoin go up 30%. Now, we've been talking about Litecoin. In fact, I put up another short today on the stream. And the reason is, the halving is coming up in August. And what I said, and I've been saying is, you can't wait till the end of July here. As Litecoin made a rapid, about a week ago, you could have gotten it 70. Yesterday afternoon in the 80s, low 80s. And today it got up all the way to 110. Now, here's the thing. I would not get too discouraged if you miss this, because I think there will be another entry coming in soon, sometime in July. So watch that, because I don't think 110 is going to be the local high for Litecoin. Don't want to guarantee anything, but I think there'll be another entry. I just want to say something. Sorry, MrFOMO, before you say something. Never let anyone make you feel bad about what you buy or taking profits. I'm talking to some people, and they're like, well, Litecoin, what's that? That's a blue blood. That's never going to make you any money. Profits are profits, and you've said this all the time. Whether you're taking profit on a coin no one's heard of or Bitcoin, if you are in the green and you are building something, that's a positive thing.
Yeah, and here in the crypto market, you've got massive volatility, and sometimes it moves independent of the rest of the market, like you saw with Litecoin, depending on what's going on. Like you have that, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of action that we've been talking about over and over again. But I feel like you should take a little bit more credit, because you've been telling people about this for close to a month, that this was going to happen, and it did. And so, this is one of those things on this channel where we don't usually like to toot our own horn, but AZ was all over this, and he's been all over this for quite a while. And so I hope that some of you took advantage, and I hope that some of you took profits off of this, because
and that's the other thing. If you don't take profits, then you don't win. And so it's kind of like if someone's giving you a layup in basketball and you don't put the ball in the hoop, then you don't score. So and that's the thing. Yes, it's impossible to take it at the top, right? To time it perfectly to get it at 110. But if you got it at 80 and you got out at 100, great job. Yeah. I never know how much to take in profits, though. Well, Jonathan, it just depends on what you're looking to do. And it just depends, right? If you're holding Litecoin for months and months and throughout the entire cycle, then whatever you want to do. For me personally, this is not financial advice, but I'm treating these tokens with no loyalty. Once it runs and I can have a profit, I can take a profit. I can come back in. Nothing against Litecoin. In fact, I'm telling you guys right now, if we do have a retrace in BTC, and some people are calling for a 29, 28.5, no guarantee BTCs over the next week or two, I think Litecoin will come back a little bit, and there'll be another run. And so that's what you're looking for. But yeah, right now we're not in a full bull market. So if you don't take profits, like it might go all the way back down to the 80s. Who knows? It might hit 85 again.
Yeah, Jonathan, a good thing to do, is to look. Coinbase has a good metric to use, and we talk about this quite a bit, but it's the average hold time on these tokens. And you'll see that on tokens that are blue chips, you're not even making it 6 months. Bitcoin, I think, is maybe a little bit over half of a year, but that's it. And so the average person is taking profits pretty quickly in this market. And I think that kind of informs us as to what the smart money is doing in crypto.
Yeah, I mean, you can hold, but the problem is the longer you hold, the more higher probability that your gains will continue to decrease. That's the reality. This is not the stock market. And MrFOMO, we kind of learned that the hard way, where we had some amazing gains, But when you don't take advantage of it, then they're not gains. They're just
Yeah,
gains on paper.
that's something about the crypto market that is always going to be true. Is it's going to retrace, whether it's in the short term, the long term, whatever, it's going to retrace. So when you see a pump like that with Litecoin, it's a good idea to take profits. Maybe leave yourself, if you think this is something that's going to the moon over the next couple of months, leave yourself a moon bag. But make sure you take something off the table to pay yourself for the time and effort you put in. I think that's the biggest mistake people make, is that, greed is a funny thing, and you may not feel greedy. You may feel like you're just making a good decision, but the best is to take some money for yourself.
Don't let anyone make you feel bad. Oh, you only made 30%. That's fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
You only made 15, or you only made 10, or you only made whatever. As long as you've come out in the green, you've come out in the green.
And especially for a lot of you that are watching the show that are trying to build back what you lost, it's kind of like the baseball analogy we were talking about before the show, Mr. FOMO. If a pitcher's giving you a walk, take the walk. If a pitcher's allowing you to get a single and you try to hit a home run every single time, you're going to get out. And so if you're constantly going for these 2, 3, 4 X's, guys, they're just not there right now in the market. That's just not the reality. They might be there later. They might be there in September, October. I think we're going to see some. I think this is just a taste of what we're going to see this fall. What we're seeing.
And I think what Jonathan said was good. I'll put it back up there. He said he's going to splash it into some ETH. And that's never a bad thing. Make sure you wait until the market retraces, like now. But that's never a bad idea to sort of spread that around. I would be careful when you buy. Remember, you don't want to just take your profits and then FOMO right in. There could be a better entry point just down the road. So, kind of watch the market, kind of watch the charts and see what happens. But that's always a good idea too, is, as Litecoin retraces, some other things might run. Use your research, use your knowledge of the market, and, slide that money into something else. And, even though the market and none of these coins ever go straight up, if you are moving from coin to coin and jumping into things that are, moving up constantly, then your portfolio, I guess, is moving up constantly. I know that's impossible to always do that.
And sometimes the best time to buy is when things are slow. Like, I'm going to go back, and I don't have any right now, just to be clear, but Cardano sat at $1 for months during the last bull run. And all of a sudden, in a few weeks, it went to $3. Just like that. Boom. And so the people that were accumulating, which we were actually one of them at the time. Problem is, we didn't take profits at $3 like idiots. That we've learned that lesson. But the people that were accumulating during the slow and quiet times while everyone was complaining, boom, when it hit that 3, they were the ones, and the people that tried to buy at 3, they were the ones that got stuck. So now might not be the greatest time, honestly. Well, I mean, I could be wrong. Some people are calling for Litecoin to go to 130 over the next few days, but I'm not sure about that. But now might not be the best time to buy Litecoin because it's just pumped. But if it goes back, let's say in the 90s again, not financial advice, but you gotta consider it. And it's not going to go parabolic. It's not going to give you a 3, 4, 5x. Market is too high. But if you're just trying to build slowly and you're going into sure things, and then you can take more risk later if you want in tokens that no one's ever heard of before. but you don't want to take those risks now, is what I'm trying to say, because it's so early in the process. And you want to give yourself some stability in your portfolio. We talked about that a few days ago. So you haven't watched that show, please go back and watch that show.
Yeah, and like you said, it's important for a lot of our viewers to recognize that market caps are really what drive price action, right? The price of the coin is not as important as the market cap, right? And then a lot of people get caught up in that, and they are confused by that. But it's important to recognize that the market cap is the most important. And so when we say blue chips, and we're talking about Ethereum and Litecoin, these are some of our top 5, top 10 coins that have some of the highest market cap.
So just to give you an idea, there was well over 2 billion, in fact, closer to 3 billion 24-hour volume that went in. That's not normal. So, but like I said,
it takes a lot to move it that way. But
I think this will happen again.
When you have good research, and something is about to happen like that halving, you know that it's going to trigger some
at some
action
point.
in the
You don't know
market.
the time, you don't know the hour, but I'm telling you guys, at some point before now in August, you're going to see another huge volume spike in Litecoin. So not financial advice, but just a heads up, look into it. The halving is still over a month away. So if you missed your chance today, don't worry. I think there'll be knock, knock, one more opportunity coming sometime in July. You just have to be ready. Mr.
Now,
FOMO,
I have one question about
sure.
Litecoin. Do you think that it will continue on after the halving, or do you think that you're going to see a sharp decline and then a fall off?
So yeah, I
Because
think
remember,
there'll be a
you've got the halving here for Litecoin, and then a little over or around a year from now, you've got the halving for Bitcoin. So could Litecoin theoretically, could this be the beginning of something?
I think
really
like
big for
let's put it
Litecoin?
this way. I would say up until the halving, you're going to see some days like today, but then afterwards, it's really gonna depend on Bitcoin, right? Now we're going to talk about the ETFs really quickly. They weren't denied today, but they were basically put on hold, saying the information that these companies provided was not complete enough. Right? Basically saying they didn't say no, but they said this is insufficient information, and so that's why we went from 31 to 30 so quickly. And what happened with Litecoin is it went from the hundreds all the way down to 90 again, and then went back to 110. So someone smart out there, I guarantee you, got it twice. Either last night or the week before, and then again today. And so
Someone's trading bot.
You just got to be ready for them, and you can never time the market. If you were in the green, just be happy and look to your next opportunity.
Yeah. So if on Litecoin, let's say you bought it in the 80s and you sold it around 100, thinking, oh, this is a huge level, huge psychological sell level. You didn't do anything wrong, right? Like you didn't make a mistake, right?
No, you can't.
You didn't hit the
You
top.
can't time the top.
Doesn't
Impossible.
mean that you failed. You've actually shown that you're quite an expert in this market. So be happy with the profits you've
even
gained.
if you took it at 90,
going to hit the top and the bottom.
If you took it at 90 and you were happy with your 10%, you still should be happy with yourself, because there's no guarantees that it was going to keep going up. Really quickly, Mr. FOMO, I want to talk about Voyager. It's come to my attention on the Twitter Spaces that a lot of people, and specifically people that higher amounts of USDC, and I have family members in the same situation, are still waiting for that to come through. Now, I reached out, and supposedly they're going to start working on these bigger accounts. Let's see if they're telling the truth. But supposedly they're basically, from what I could gather from talking to a few people, they are kind of not, well, they are undermanned for all these withdrawals. And they weren't ready for the volume in terms of what it was going to take to do these. That's why they sent out at the beginning it could take 10 days. They kind of knew, but I think now reality hit them. Oh my goodness, we've got to do all these, and we've got to do them manually. And so again, like what you said in the last show, they just mentally and physically were not prepared for all this work. And that's why you have these just staggering delays. I've heard some horror stories of people that were pending and now they've been disabled. Who knows what that's about? That's got to be cleared up. I think that very messy and just sad.
I don't think that this is accidental. I think this is criminally negligent. They knew quite well that there was going to be a bank run last week when they opened that app. They knew that for sure.
And they even encourage people to get their stuff off as quickly as possible.
And so for them to say, oh, we were grossly understaffed. And
no. Just to be clear, no one has said that. I've done some research and figured that out by talking to some people.
But nobody feels bad for them. There's millions in there for wind down money, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what are they spending the millions on if it's not for people who can pay out the millions that we need to have paid out?
Third party, whatever that means. They're third party quests, treasure hunts that they're going to go after later, which, you know my opinion. After
I think this is absolute criminal. It's criminal negligence, at least, if not just straight up criminality by holding on to people's money or declining their transfers. Because what happens if you hold this this crypto in some sort of interest bearing account, or you hold the the person's stuff in the interest-bearing account. Could they be holding that somewhere where they are gaining interest on it? Could it behoove them to keep holding it and keep prolonging this to, gain that interest?
I really hope that they get this stuff done, and we can maybe later give out the information again to call the lawyers if people want to contact them and say, if you're still waiting and it's been over a week and you're still waiting, it's time for them to move. Now, 10 days would be early next week, but then you have a holiday. So I don't know how that works, but they need to get their act together, and they need to get it now because the market's moving and people would like to reinvest. And that's really,
I mean, how many of those people that are pending would have liked to put some money down on Litecoin in the last week? Who knows? Who knows what they wanted to hold, what they held, whatever. But there were opportunities in the market this past week, and these people weren't able to take advantage of them. And that's something that we talk about a lot, is opportunity cost.
Well, the opportunity cost we dealt with it for 11 and a half months, and we're still dealing with, because remember, this was not even a true 35% of the initial holding. Right. And
we're still waiting till the fall for the rest.
Our everyday loss with the rest of it is still so Mr. FOMO, I'm going to leave our viewers with this, guys. Watch the market closely over the next couple of days. It's going to be a holiday weekend. It's going to be very, very volatile. So for Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget the subscribe button, everybody. Have a great day.
See ya.